3 years ago, I had a horrible heart attack. And it was very strange because there was no evidence of any restriction on my arteries in my heart or anywhere. They're wide open because the bad cholesterol level is half of the normal level. But a clot came from somewhere.
That would cause the heart attack.
Yeah, and this is kind of the religious part of me, but we had for 7 years, I was one of there were 10 people that had responsibility for the Mormon Church in the northeast quadrant of North America.
Okay.
So we have 1,500 churches, and so almost every week I had to go to a city where all of the churches in the area came together to have a conference, and my job was to help them be better Mormons.
Yeah.
And so it would last on Saturday and then Sunday.
Is this being in charge of a stake or being
at the level above the stake?
Okay.
And we call them area 70s.
Area 70s. Okay.
Yeah. So
is that one step below the group in Salt Lake City? The quorum? The
quorum of the 12 apostles.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got assigned to go to Montreal, where we're going to have this conference of the Montreal stake.
Yeah.
And the stake president in Montreal was a physician himself, and so we stayed at his home, and the meetings on Saturday, I think, were the most the feeling of that the Spirit of God was in the room was deeper than I have ever felt in my life. It was just extraordinary. And you walked out of that saying, just committed to improve our lives better.
Mm-hmm.
And then Christine we drove up there, and so we were sleeping in the extra room in their basement. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, I just had a horrible pain in my chest. And I never had a heart attack before, but this is something bad.
Yeah.
And I was laying there thinking, if I wake Christine up and tell her I got a problem,
yeah,
she'll go wake up the stake president,
yeah,
who's a doctor, and they're going to take me to the hospital, and it's going to screw up a wonderful stake meeting on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it just won me, and there are 2,000 members of the church who are going to come to that meeting. And so I knelt down at the side of the bed, and I said, I got a problem. Whatever this is, could you please just make it go away so that we can have wonderful meetings on Sunday? And it went away. And I fell asleep, and the meetings on Sunday were comparable to the ones on Saturday. And the meetings ended about 9 p.m. on Sunday night. And so then we started to drive back to Boston. It's about a 5.5-hour drive. So you had to go through all of the rural parts of Quebec, and then...
Did you tell your wife about what had happened the night before?
No. And then we went through the rural parts of
But sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Were you okay that day during the meeting?
Yeah, I felt
so you had enough energy again.
Yeah, did just fine.
Wow.
And went through all of the back. Went through Vermont and New Hampshire, and came back to Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day was Veterans Day, and I went and raked up the leaves and then about 4 in the afternoon, I just had this horrible worse.
Oh, worse. Yeah.
Yeah. And Christine was on the phone, and I grabbed my briefcase because I always need to have something to do. This is my instinct. And I say, Christine, I need you to drive me to the hospital. And so I took out my car. Started the car up, and Christine quickly came in, and we started walking or driving away from the house. And she said, "What are we going to the hospital for?" And I said, "I think I'm having a heart attack."
Oh, wow.
And she said, "Let me take you to the firehouse where they have an ambulance there."
Yeah.
And so we went there and knocked on the door and said, "Could you take my husband into the doctor?" But so within about 30 minutes of when the heart attack occurred, they were seeing, watching what was going on, and
Yeah.
realized that a clot had come from somewhere and just completely blocked what they call the left anterior artery, which is the major source of blood for the pumping muscles of the heart.
Yeah.
And it was just totally blocked. And so they sent this thing up into my heart and just sucked it out. And as soon as it was gone, the flow returned. But had that happened to me when we were driving home in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
I'd have been killed.